turn around a little bit. I'm going to stand here. And I'm going to talk as loud as I can. Good evening, everyone. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. This is a lovely select gathering. I like it when there's just this many people because it means we can actually get round and talk to each other. And I hope we're going to swap seats. Don't you think we ought to move around as much as we can? So, I've been asked to talk about Christmas presents. That means Christmas now, this year, and it means presents. Because I'm a little bit, not mean, but I'm taking a Scroogey take on presents because I'm the only person in the room who doesn't like presents. I never like what I'm given. I've got too much stuff. I love getting rid of stuff. I don't want more. But more about that later. This year, my Christmas is going to be very different from anyone. Ginny sort of opened that idea. I said to my two daughters, for 44 years I've hosted Christmas. It's time they did it. So my two daughters are both hosting Christmas. One in Cyprus and one in England. Now the sad thing about that is I can't go to both. So although it's a happy time, I will be sad. I will miss my grandchildren and miss my daughters terribly. But we're going to do something fun, I think, in Cyprus. I'll tell you about that later. So what am I going to miss about the English Christmas? Well, for a start, I'm going to miss our breakfast. We have a very odd breakfast. We have a roaring fire, and we all wear pyjamas, and the table looks incredibly grand. And we eat a kind of stew. It's South African. And it sounds horrible. It's made of kidneys and bacon. And the first time I gave this to my sons-in-law, they said, Jenny, you're not really going to make us eat kidney and bacon stew. And I said, no, there's loads of other things, but we're all going to eat it. And you know, by the end of it, they both said to me, Jenny, next year, will you make twice as much? And we do it every year, and I hope Antonia is going to. I don't know if you can buy kidneys in Cyprus, but I jolly well hope she does it. The next thing I'm going to miss is going down to the pub. Mainly because my parents wouldn't have dreamt of doing that. And I love going down to our local pub. I love the fact we can walk there. It has the best beer ever. It's called Nuts, Christmas Nuts. We've got a local brewery. They have fires, they have candles, and they take all the stuff out. So everybody stands up, everybody talks to everybody. All the children are wearing their presents and dying to show you their little toys. And I just love it. Sadly, the pub burnt down about a month ago. So we wouldn't have gone there anyway. It's going to take 2 years to rebuild it, which is terribly tragic. So it's just as well in Cyprus. The third thing I'm going to miss is my funky Christmas tree. Because I don't do traditional Christmas like the rest of you. I don't do turkey, I don't do anything like that. And I have a very funky fibre optic tree. And it's full of voodoo dolls, you know, the ones who stick pins in. Terribly unsuitable Christmas audience, Christmas stuff. And the children love it. And it upsets my most conservative friends, and that keeps me very happy. I'm going to miss that too. So, I don't know what's going to be different. I know we're not going to have turkey. We're going to have souvla. I don't know if any of you know what souvla is. It's a very stupid thing. It's very cheap pork, seriously cheap. The charcoal costs about 4 times as much as the pork. It takes 4 hours to cook. You need about 6 bags of charcoal to keep this souvla thing going. You plug it into the electricity, so you need to stick it on at about 9 o'clock and it's ready at about 2. It tastes quite nice. And then afterwards, I think it'll turn quite British because I think Antonia will light the fire, and my son and my son-in-law will be vying about who's been the cleverest down the naffy. Do you know what down the naffy means? I'll give you a clue. We're having Christmas on an army base. It's the shop. It's the only shop where you can buy stuff. And by about the 14th bottle of wine, we will start playing charades. We have to play charades. And when we've exhausted charades, we play articulate. Because the women always win. How many of you play articulate? Yeah. Men can't play it because they're so clever. By the time they've thought of something clever, the sound has all gone through that thing. And it's the women's turn. They talk 100 miles an hour, they get it straight away. So that's what we're going to be doing. So, then I'm going to go back to this presents thing. Why don't I like presents? We are taking a whole suitcase in the hole full of presents for the grown-ups, but the children aren't getting any presents. I'm fed up with the children. Last year, grandson number 1 said, I've opened nearly all my presents and I haven't got the only thing I wanted. It was some Lego thing. It was the only thing he wanted. And then the next one came up to me and said, Oma, I love the jumper. It is the same colour as my eyes and it feels lovely, but what a strange present. Well, I learned not to give 9-year-olds clothes. And then the little one came up and said, I am so tired of opening presents. Can somebody else open them while I go out and play? So, this year they're getting vouchers on Amazon and they can go on the computer and buy whatever they like. So I'm fed up with presents. The grown-ups are getting really